Welcome to those of you streaming us here on CBS News Baltimore. I'm Sina Gabra-Ab. This is a special coverage of today's midterm elections in Maryland. We have extensive team coverage for you on all the major races. Let's start with Kelsey Kushner at Waverly Elementary School with a look at how people out there are feeling as they get out to vote. Kelsey.
Yeah, well, we've seen a pretty steady stream of people making their way inside right now to vote. A lot of excitement. People are feeling pretty hopeful, and they're walking out with their I voted stickers, wearing them proudly on them. Of course, it is going to take some time for us to figure out how many people voted in person today. But as for early voting, Maryland early voting turnout was a lot less this year than it was in the past years. There were more mail-in ballots this year. That's what was popular. The Maryland Board of Elections says about 382,000 voters cast their ballots during early voting. While it was steady this year, turnout was lower than in the midterm elections of 2018 when there were about 661,000 voters that turned in their ballots. As for those mail-in ballots, the Board of Elections says they sent out more than 500,000 ballots. We spoke with people today who say it was important for them to get out and vote.
It's just really important, I think, always to exercise our right to vote, and there's just a lot going on in our state, in our county, and I just think, your voice needs to be heard if it can.
It's time for a change. I'm tired of the same people coming in office. Nothing's changing. The schools need help. Medicare needs help. The people need help. And the people we elected promised things to us that we haven't seen. And we need a change. It's time.
And Sina, remember that the polls close today at 8 p.m. so you can register in person to vote. You can also drop off your mail-in ballot. If you are mailing in your ballot, it has to be postmarked with today's date. Reporting live, Kelsey Kushner for WJC.
Thank you, Kelsey. Now let's go to Abijoy Burnett, who's been following the Westmore campaign for weeks in preparation for this day. Abijoy, what is Moore up to today?
Hi, Sina. Well, first of all, I've got to say there's a lot of excitement out here, not just for one campaign, but so many folks are showing up with their kids to also vote. Wes Moore, the candidate who is running to be governor, the Democrat here in Maryland, says he didn't sleep last night. That's what he told me just about an hour ago or so. He was up and about very early today, right after the polls opened, trying to get those additional votes. And it may be even hard to imagine that people haven't made up their minds yet, but that's what many of these candidates are banking on, that they may be able to get some final last-minute voters in these few hours leading up to the polls closing at 8 p.m. So Wes Moore told me that he started out in Baltimore City. We took a look at their schedule and noticed that they went over to Baltimore County. We met up with them here in Howard County, and then they left here in Ellicott City and went to Anne Arundel County. And the person who he is running with, his running mate, Aruna Miller, she has areas of Montgomery County covered. And this is their last 30-second elevator pitch, if you may, trying to get folks who may not have made up their minds yet, or just to get an idea of what the vibe is out here. As you know, Sina, WJZ has been covering this for quite some time now. We have teams spread out all over. And one of our photojournalists, Billy Poplowski, he met up with Wes Moore early this morning at one of his first stops. Here's a little bit of a back and forth of him speaking with the candidate and getting a vibe for how he's feeling.
You have a big day today, sir. How you feeling?
We're feeling great. We're feeling energized. The state is ready. The state is ready to come together. The state is ready to go fast. The state is ready to be bold. The state is ready to get big things done. So we're feeling good. We got a great team around us, and it is time for Maryland to move fast.
How are you feeling this morning about your chances?
We're feeling good. I think, we know that every single day we are running this race like we're 10 points down, and we've done that the entire campaign. And I think that's why we've been successful. We are taking nothing for granted, but we're also taking nothing for granted because we know what's at stake. We're going to run through the tape, and the people in Maryland are going to see that this is the pace that we move at.
And you heard Wes Moore reference running as if they are 10 points behind. But the reality is a recent poll from the Baltimore Sun and the University of Baltimore put him at about 30 points ahead of his Republican opponent, Delegate Dan Cox. But even so, this is a message that Wes Moore continued to hammer in. He even said it to us yesterday that they are running as if they are behind. And we saw a lot of his surrogates also coming out to support Wes Moore. We saw Mayor Brandon Scott. He took the trip here from Baltimore City to speak on behalf of Westmore. We also saw the county executive here in Howard County. He went over to Anne Arundel County. The county executive there will also be meeting up with him. We saw members of Maryland's congressional delegation also here to support Westmore. I wanted to get an idea, what is he going to do after he hits up all of these spots in between the time that he goes to that last location and then when they all go downtown after the polls close. He told me that he'll be going to get some family time with his children and his wife in preparation for what will be a really big night for all of these candidates who will be waiting to see what the results will be, Sina, after the polls close at 8. We're live here in Howard County in Ellicott City. Ava Joy Burnett for CBS News Baltimore.